Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, bringing sustainability to the built environment. Today I'm just going to briefly look at the Renewables heat incentive. I have a much bigger, but not tediously too long, presentation that I'm happy to email to you if you want to email me on Fiona at so-ren.co.uk, and that explains things in a lot more detail but without having to read the 63-page document entitled Eligibility for applicants. So the domestic renewable heat incentive is a government scheme. It encourages households to heat their homes using renewable technologies, and households who install air source heat pumps, solar thermal systems and hybrids can receive quarterly payments for 7 years as long as they adhere to the scheme's rules. This particular version of the scheme ends on the 31st of March 2022. We don't know what comes after that. Applicants who commissioned the eligible heating system on or after the 1st of March 2019 were previously rejected for failing to meet the 12-month rule, but they can now reapply for accreditation to the scheme. Your commissioning date is the date your installer tests and signs off the system, and can be found on your microgeneration certificate, so your MCS certificate. So there are 4 different types of technology that are covered. Time spent researching and choosing your equipment and your installer could affect whether you're approved when you come to apply. Chosen makes and models of renewable product must be certified by the MCS scheme or equivalent, and they must meet EN standards and be on the product eligibility list. Domestic RHI, as we're talking about today, is aimed at single properties or dwellings. When your property has an integral home office or studio, you can still apply to the domestic RHI if your EPC covers that space. It can also cover outbuildings that form part of the same property, but if the outbuildings have a commercial use and they are also heated by your renewable technology but have their own EPC, you might be better off applying to the non-domestic RHI, but you can't apply to both schemes. If your renewable technology provides heat to a building that's rented or let separately or covered by a separate address, subject to separate business rates, has a separate council tax bill and or has a separate domestic EPC, you won't be eligible for domestic RHI. So with regards to the actual heating system, all parts must have been commissioned on the same date. No relevant equipment can be second-hand, and relevant equipment can actually be found in a relevant parts table in the essential guide. You can only apply for consecutive RHI if you're replacing one technology with a different type of technology. The property that you're applying the technology to must be occupied unless it's custom built or self-built. And in this case, there are 3 criteria to be met, which are covered more in the 63-page document or in the nice presentation that I've put together that you can receive if you send me an email. So to be eligible for the scheme and receive the best performance from your renewable technology, loft and cavity wall insulation should be installed as recommended by your EPC. If it's not possible to do so, there are some exemptions, such as listed buildings, where improvements have been made. You will need to update your EPC confirming this. Other energy efficiency improvements, for example double glazing, are not required under domestic RHI. So, metering. There are 2 types of metering that may need to be installed, and these usually refer to heat pumps. The metering is for performance or for payment, and again I can give you more detail on that in a presentation in exchange for your email. The checklist for eligibility is huge. Again, it's available in the document or in the presentation that I've put together. There can be joint ownership of the renewable technology, and this is managed through a joint ownership letter. Payments will be made to the nominated owner, and it will be their responsibility to comply with the obligations under the scheme. When you submit a complete application, that's when your tariff will be determined. You have 12 months to submit, but you must consider that if you need to supply further information, factor that into your 12-month period. If ownership of the technology changes, notification must be made. From the date of sale, there's a 12-month window for the new owner to notify the change of ownership and whether the scheme should be continued. Annual declarations must be submitted within 28 days of receipt of request. Payments can be withheld if it's believed there are compliance issues. If an investigation is required, payments can be withheld. If non-compliance is confirmed, payments may be permanently withheld and your accreditation revoked. If non-compliance or fraud is suspected, Ofgem can audit your property at short notice. And then just a final little bit on replacements. The MCS certified renewable components of your heating system are generally indoor or outdoor heat pump, biomass boiler, stove or solar collector. If any of these parts are replaced, Ofgem must be notified via the replacement product declaration form, which must be completed by yourself and the MCS installer. I'm going to do another little video just very quickly on payments, because that's obviously a crucial issue. These two videos are just a brief example of what the 63-page document talks about. And again, as I said, I have done a small presentation that can help you work through that document or prevent you from having to work through that document, preferably, saving you time and money. So if you would like access to that presentation for free, it's fiona@so-ren.co.uk. Thank you.